Okay, I'm going to try to go through a little bit on pickup shoe setup, and this is going to require probably a little bit of imagination. My camera technology here isn't very good. I do have a nice visual aid here. This is like a 6-to-1 representation of a pickup shoe, so I can probably show some things with it. So if you imagine, what we're going to do is put the shoes on the car and then set them up on this block eventually to make sure that they're running flat on this 13 thou pad. But first of all, the Slot-Tech shoes right out of the package are really not flat. I'm going to work with Slot-Tech here. The same holds true for stock shoes, like a stock Aurora shoe. The out of the package Wizard shoes, the ones that have a restriction bend in them actually are very flat to start with, but you got to remove the restriction bend, which I assume is legal if you wanted to do it that way. But so those are a little easier to deal with. But I got a lot of Slot-Tech shoes, so I do a ton of these. So basically, your goal is, like I said, like if this is the pad on that block, and that's the pickup shoe, you want no gap. So it's not going to rock. So this comes up, see it's just coming up all the way. So that would be running flat on the block. That's ideal. So the first step is to get this surface actually flat. Right out of the package, the Slot-Tech shoes, I think this will show. Yeah, look like this. See, that's how it's kind of rocking there? Well, you don't want that. And it's a lot of rock. You'd only be touching one spot, not in the front, not in the back. You touch in the middle somewhere. Well, that's not so good. So you want it to be flat. So basically what we're going to do, what I generally do, is bend it so it's slightly overcorrected. And you can't see this, but if you trust me on this, there's a little light. If you look through this, there's a little light right there. It's touching here and here, not touching here. So when you put on the sanding block, and sand it, and it's going to remove some material here, going to remove some material here. Eventually, that's all one surface and it's nice and flat. Okay, so you kind of got to trust me on that, because you're not going to be able to see it probably on the video to actual scale. But I'm going to try. So I'm using my sanding block. I'm going to clean it off here with a paper towel. And then I have to find my tape. Here's my tape, my double sticky tape. That's this Scotch double sticky tape. And I'm going to cut a little chunk off. That's a little shorter than the foot portion of pickup shoe. So, and that's ready. So, but first I've got to, there's some burr. The dies at Slot-Tech are getting a little worn. So there's a little burr here, a little burr here. There's also some burr down here in the hook. So let's just go ahead and clean all that up. So I'm just going to do a little, I'm kind of touching the edge. You kind of see what I'm doing here. Kind of hitting the edge of it, getting that burr out of both of these shoes. And I'm going to use my blue Whizzer wheel on my Dremel. It's a fine sandpaper, and just hit that there, get that little burr off out of the edges. All right. So now I'm working with the shoe, and you can't see it in the picture, I'm sure, but it's slightly arced. I can barely tell myself. But if I put it on basically I put it on the edge of my tech block here, and I can run a toothpick back and forth. I can watch this tail. You might be able to see this in the video. I don't know. You might be able to see it. Probably not, but maybe. Watch the tail move. As the tail moves up and down, that means this surface right here isn't flat, it's convex. You might have to trust me on that. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend here, I'm going to tweak it here, and in the back, same thing, bend it there, and in the middle, bend it there, and I'm going to put it back on here and hold it up to the light. Now, so I'll be gone for a second. I'll be right back. I didn't go far enough, so I'm going to bend it some more here. Going to bend a little more in the middle. You want to slightly overcorrect it. If you get it just right, then after you sand it, it'll be a little convex again, and it's a little more frustrating to fix. Okay, I'm getting pretty close. Like I said, these are not the easiest things in the world to work with. I'm a little out of spec here in the back, so I'm going to bend it just a little more in the back. Okay. Back up against the light. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I got my double sticky tape. As you can see here, I'm going to pull the adhesive backing off. This is a method I came up with, and I don't know if anybody, I think Jeff uses this a little bit sometimes. I don't know if anybody else ever did. I've showed it to a lot of people though, and I really like it. So basically, the idea is if you don't have the sticky tape, you're going to be rolling the shoe. You won't know it, but you're rolling the shoe and you're going to roll it back to convex shape. So putting the sticky tape on and try to hold your finger pretty steady. Just go back and forth on the sandpaper. And you can kind of look at it. Now it's going to be hard to see, but maybe you can see that it's sanding so far here and here. And there's a spot in the middle that isn't touching, but it's almost touching. I think I might have not overcorrected this enough. I'm going to see. Just a real light touch. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just a real light touch here. Just a little more. Yep, that's it. That came through pretty fast. It's a little eerie how quick that happened. So the tape's come back off. Blow all the residue off. And I'm going to check it against my block here. So I'll be right back in a second. It's not quite right. I'm going to have to double correct it. So it's fine in the middle. It's got a little arc here and a little arc here. So when you look at it, well, it doesn't really show that, but that's what I'm seeing when I look at it on the block. So I'm going to overcorrect a little more, overcorrect a little more, get it back on the block and see what that looks like. Looks better, but I don't think I didn't go far enough in the back. That's pretty good. I think I'll just sand it real quick, and matter of fact, one thing you can do is just put a little line here with a Sharpie marker. Just give it a little, wow, cleaned it right up. Got it pretty flat. Okay, that one looks good. I'm going to do the other one the same way. But I'll do that later. There's no reason to bore you. So the next step, just pretend they're both done. I'm going to put this on the driver's side. I'm going to try to act this out. I'm not sure this is going to work on video. But right now, the shoe looks like it's touching up here in the front, and it's cocked at an angle. So I'm going to try to twist it and bend it this way so that it's going to come in flat. So that's a little bit of an iterative process. It takes a few tries. Usually it might take somewhere between 30 seconds and 5 minutes to do a shoe, to get it running really nice and flat on the block. Now if you choose not to use a block, you can use a piece of test track. You don't get the side-to-side action though, so it's a little harder to set it with confidence. But a lot of people do that and it works okay. Don't think I made any correction at all there. So basically I'm just twisting like that, and then bending it that way. All right, I probably way overcorrected it there. Yep, sure did. It's still too twisted. I didn't make a twist correction. Okay, now it's sitting on the block the other way. Now it's still toe heavy, but it's sitting this way. So make another modification. It's a little closer than it started though. It's actually a little bit back on the heel, not on the toe now. That's a little better. Okay, now it's touching on the inside edge. It's touchy. They're really touchy. It depends on how big of a perfectionist you are. Sometimes you can get it pretty close and say, the heck with it, that's good enough. Okay, now oh wow, it's dead perfect. Okay, so I got this one run. I got this one done. And you can see it's on the block. I don't think you can tell, but I'll bring some more light in here. Maybe that'll help a little. But it's running right on the block. And if you look at it, you can't see it this way. But it's dead flat this way, and it's dead flat that way on the 13 block. So that's what you want on both the shoes. And then incidentally, you can look at this shoe here. That's a Slot-Tech shoe. These are standard RTHO front rims and tires. So you can see the amount of motion of the pickup shoe is not much. It's not like a fray restriction, but it's pretty close to a fray restriction. In some cases on bumpy track, that might be too restricted. So, but anyway, that's what it looks like. And I want to do the other shoe, and then we'll have a quick look at the shoe tension, and probably talk about the guide pin a little.